Hi everyone. We thought a quick video update might be the fastest way of getting some of this information across to you. So I've nipped down to the office here to put this together for you. Obviously it's going to be very amateur by our usual standards. We don't have lighting, video, proper camera. It's just fairly amateur affair. So please bear with me on the sound and the picture quality. But there is an important message behind the video, which is why I wanted to put this together quickly, which is why we've sort of thrown this together and just stuck it out there. And it's to do with what's on the screen behind me here from the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, the DCMS. And it came out nearly a couple of weeks ago now, and it's been updated again on the 25th of May. And the reason it's so relevant to us as martial arts instructors in clubs is it says if you're a personal trainer / coach, you can now work with clients outdoors, providing you are alone and only meeting one person from outside of your household, outdoors, and staying a minimum of 2 meters apart. So effectively what it's doing is giving the green light for an albeit very limited return to one-to-one instruction. So you can meet with one other person outside of your household for tuition. And you can meet with as many clients during the day as you like. It goes on to say you can meet with different clients in a single day as long as it's only via one-to-one sessions and you're maintaining social distancing. Now there's obviously all the usual things around that about hygiene and cleaning, etc. And it's not going to be a magic fix for things like contact training and grappling. It's going to be more for the fitness and shadow boxing and katas, etc. But we've been waiting for a number of days now for the DCMS, Oliver Dowden MP, who's the Minister for Sport, Media Culture, to actually clarify if martial arts instructors were included in this. The old things happen again, that martial arts has been stuck at the back of the line and forgotten about. So it says if you're a personal trainer / coach, and the big issue with that was to say you're / coach off the back of saying personal trainer could be seen to be implying some sort of personal trainer / fitness coach rather than a martial arts coach. So we've been pushing day in and day out for clarification. We've had a couple of stock sort of template responses that haven't been very helpful, but we have now finally had confirmation, and a big thanks to our partners at the Sport and Recreation Alliance, who we've been a member of for a number of years, for helping us. Their policy team have helped us drill down and get that confirmation we needed before we told all of you guys and girls to go out there and start teaching on a one-to-one basis. We obviously had to make sure what we're telling you is accurate and up to date, and it just wasn't up to date. The guidance behind me, that's not enough. It's not up to date enough to have you go out there and start teaching. But we have now had the clarity. Now, it's obviously always caveated, it's conditional, it's subject to change. You're going to have a look at the guidance yourself. We'll obviously link to this in a moment. But you have to look at the guidance yourself and satisfy yourself that it's appropriate and fitting. But if you're happy, the policy experts at the SRA and our in-house team here, we seem confident now that martial arts instruction can resume on that limited one-to-one basis on an outdoor setting. So that's something. The door is starting to creak open. Now, obviously, as you'll know, if you've been following our social media and you've been regularly logging into my BMABA, when this all broke at the start of March, or the end of March, when lockdown really bit, we put aside £45,000 straight away in subsidies to help our members access things like qualifications and training, safeguarding tools, etc., insurances, membership, etc., etc. And the purpose behind that was for exactly today. So you had everything in place and all your insurance is up to date. So when it's not really a green light, when the sort of flashing amber light came on, you're ready to go. Now, we obviously initially, when this broke, within I think 7 days of lockdown commencing, we had an online deliveries portal live for our members, which had all the guidance and rules and regulations on remote teaching, both live and pre-recorded. We still have up online all the template forms you need, tutorials and things like Zoom and YouTube, all of the legal side of things and the safeguarding considerations. And of course, most importantly perhaps, is we paid for the insurance condition that would allow you to run live and pre-recorded lessons, and we did that free of charge. Now, that was only for pre-existing members when it first came out, but fairly recently, in the last couple of weeks, we've managed to upgrade that, so it now covers new members, so clubs can grow online, albeit it's very difficult to do, but you can take on new students online. And now with this in mind, I'm very pleased to announce, we've already got confirmation from our insurers that you can deliver sessions outdoors. Now, there are obviously, like all things insurance, some conditions and guidelines associated with that. So that's all going to be in MyBMBA. We'll put the links in the description and we'll link you back to it. Log into MyBMBA if you're watching it somewhere else. On the resources, go to the online delivery section. You'll see all our tools and guidance for delivering online training sessions. But you will be insured for delivering sessions on this basis, subject to the conditions we'll publish in my BMBA. So the insurance is there. If you're a BMBA member and you have our instructor insurance with us, you haven't got to pay more for that, and you can get started. Now, we've been doing a huge amount behind the scenes since this happened. We've launched, obviously, the group of social enterprises, Martial Host Training Services, British Martial Arts, all the rest of it, to try and help cushion the blow on our industry when this all emerges. When we emerge from this and it goes back to some form of normality. Now, I've been asked on a daily basis, when do we think it's going to go back? And we were initially saying September, October, November, but actually, signs seem pretty positive. It might be a bit sooner. Now, what it's going to look like when we actually go back to it, who knows? It's going to be socially distanced martial arts, so it's not going to be contact. You're not going to be rolling on the mats, or realistically, I don't even see how you could logically kick a kicking shield at the moment. There's probably going to be all sorts of caveats, like students having their own equipment, which is obviously going to be a barrier for those on tighter incomes, and the whole lot of hurdles we're going to have to overcome nearer the time. But for us, we're watching obviously DCMS, their guidance for personal trainers very closely. We're obviously monitoring the gym sector as well, because that's where we're probably closest aligned to, is gyms and sports centres. So when they open, we should be able to reopen in theory. I mean, things are moving along nicely. So car sales rooms are open in a few days' time. Schools are going back in staggered intakes in some areas. Middle of the month, shops are reopening. They're talking about bars reopening in July. I mean, if a bar's reopening, you can go out and buy a pint, then surely you can go and do a bit of martial arts, as long as it's social distance. So things are looking positive that over the summer months, we might start to get something going again. We might be able to get back to something that resembles martial arts training. Rolling into the autumn and the winter, September, when schools go back, it seems untenable that you can't then teach martial arts. Like we say, we just don't know at the moment what social distancing will look like, but I would certainly anticipate having it there. And I think the response to this crisis, the lack of support for the martial arts sector, again, the lack of support for independent martial arts clubs, and the tightening of ranks of all sorts of government organisations, and the funding pots always going to the same people, time in and time out, shows that realistically there is going to be no magic ticket, no magic silver bullet for martial arts. We're going to have to rebuild ourselves from this. And I think what we need to be all doing as clubs and instructors now is thinking about social enterprising. So if you haven't already been doing so, make the most of the resources we have available to you to build up your club now, to get your business plan in good order and make sure you're ready to go when your doors reopen. I mean, this today effectively confirms that you could tomorrow run a one-to-one session with a client outdoors, keeping social distancing in place, etc., and charge for it and start something that might resemble some return to martial arts. So we'll obviously keep you updated. June 1st is the date to watch, because we're talking about social distancing or social bubbles changing slightly, and some sort of shops and schools reopening. So things could evolve a bit more then. But for now, we will link you back to this official government guidance. Have a look at it, see if you can make it work for your club. It'd be great if you can start earning a bit as a club, certainly engaging more of your members. And actually, on the online training, don't resist it. This is not going to go away anytime soon. Online training, I think, is probably here to stay. There is a lot of merit in complementing what you do in the dojo when you reopen with online training, be it pre-recorded templates, pre-recorded lessons and drills, or weekly challenges, or little bits and pieces, or even live training one-to-one basis or one-to-many basis through things like Zoom. And it's a very good way when we go back to a sort of a new normal, and perhaps people's wallets are a bit tighter, a bit thinner than usual. A very good way of you complementing your membership fee for classes by saying, well, in addition to the classes once or twice a week on the mats, for example, you'll have access to X amount online, having many pre-recorded lessons or online lessons on Saturday morning, or whatever it might be. So all the resources you need are in my BMBA. One or two of you said you thought we'd gone a little bit quiet. We really haven't. We're still here. We're still running, albeit a little bit more remotely. And this has had a huge impact on us as an organisation. We've lost in excess of £200,000 now, and we're self-funded. Sport England won't help us. And we've tried to pass on as many reductions to our members as we can out of our own pocket. So the £45,000 of subsidies is now gone. We've put another 15 grand in there, and we'll keep doing that until we think there's enough of a market for clubs to enterprise and recover themselves. But in the interim, like I say, in addition to all that online resources we have to help you teach online and remotely, as things like this evolve, we'll let you know. If there's a slight delay, it's not because we haven't spotted it, it's because we're actually clarifying what the terms are. Because what we don't want to do as a professional organisation for professional martial arts instructors is say, great, DCMS update, go out there and do it. Then you ask us what the details are, and we shrug our shoulders and say, who knows, you make it up as you go along. And that's, I know there's a bit of a feeling that that's what's happening almost with government at the moment, because we go to the DCMS or whoever it might be and say, okay, well, that's very broad guidance. Can you give us clarification or details on X, Y, Z? And we keep getting told use common sense. And obviously, common sense doesn't really work with a regulatory framework. But nonetheless, this is a positive development, albeit, for most of you, a fairly small development. But it is the start, hopefully, of the return. And when we come back to the mats, we're going to have to do things slightly differently. We're going to have to be a bit more self-reliant. For some of the clubs out there who have been living a bit hand to mouth, I would really strongly recommend you social enterprise a bit more, and you focus on generating more revenue as a club. And it doesn't mean profit that goes into someone's back pocket. It could be more revenue that goes back into a cash reserve for a rainy day or emergencies like this, or towards equipment, stock, etc. But we'll help you do that. All the guidance is there. We are here, Facebook Messenger, emails, text calls, phone calls, Zoom, all this sort of stuff. If you need to speak with us, we will help. The guidance has been updated regularly. If things go quiet, it's not because we're not paying attention to what's happening, it's just purely because nothing has happened or nothing's changed that's relevant to you. But for now, we'll follow us up with a slightly more detailed blog post or update in my BMABA, and we'll touch base very shortly.